Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now, last time we had started automating our factory and got electricity set up, so now we have powered machines. Yay! Okay, so that is a major improvement for us. However, I was finding myself stymied because there were a lot of things I needed to build for automation, namely things like extractors and whatnot, that I couldn't find anywhere in our quest guide. They certainly are buried in here somewhere, but it doesn't tell you where to look or what to do. They're just missing. So what I did is tweaked one configuration setting that stops hiding the recipes. And now we can see both the recipes and what they are locked behind. So for instance, extractors are on the list of things that I need to build, but I didn't know how to build them. They were missing here when I looked them up. But now I can see that they're under Trans LA2. So I can find that then under Trans LA2. So I assume this is the logistics, better logistics LA2. So Trans LA2 right there. And now it's unlocked, no problem. So now I can make those extractors very, very easily. Now, before I make those extractors, I do want to do a couple of things here. I need some extracting conveyor belts. And the reason why I want extracting conveyor belts is because I would like to automate some of these setups that I was stymied with a little last time. So for instance, here where I'm making my metal plates, I would really love to just be able to put down a conveyor belt instead. And it looks like I need a piece of dirt to stick it on here. So let's just plunk down our dirt, and then we plunk down our conveyor belt. We tell it which way to go. I think that's the right way. Oh, that wasn't right. Not right at all. There we go. Now it's going to pull items automatically out of this inventory. Whoops, and drop them right into my inventory, which is not what we want. There we go. Now we've got our metal plates being made automatically. So isn't that easy? So that extractor works great for the default belts. That's what we're mass producing over here. But what it doesn't work great for is extracting onto our conveyors, the upgraded logistics. So we need to actually build an extractor for that. So that means we need to build a whole bunch of hoppers. So I think we need 3 of these all said and done just to make one. So let's make 1, 2, 3 hoppers. And then we make one more extracting conveyor belt, and then we use that to make our extractor, just like so. And now we have an extractor. Now this we should be able to put onto our things like our drills to extract. Now I'd like to automatically start storing some of our items into our array that we're building over here for storage drawers. But for that we need a storage drawer controller, and a storage drawer controller needs diamonds. We have a couple of diamonds, but it needs nether quartz. And I don't believe at this point we have any nether quartz. So let's go to our handy little seismic reader. Let's grab a piece of nether quartz, which it gave us just for this purpose. And let's go ahead and scan up where we're going to find nether quartz. Okay, it looks like there's actually nether quartz right over by the lake. That is super convenient, where we've been doing our coal extracting. So let's go ahead and see if we don't have enough ingredients here. We have 4 blocks of steel to make another drill. So, okay, drill. Burner drills, I think we have enough copper gears for that. I've been making them automatically in our factory. So let's go ahead and do this. That's our drill base. And then we need a steel drill head, which is easy enough. I just need to grab some more iron out of our iron storage over here. And with that, we can make the iron gear that we need. And with the iron gear, we can then make the steel drill head. Just like so. Now we have to grab our advanced ore scanner, excuse me, and hike over to the lake and see if we can't find that nether quartz that they were saying is over here. Let's see here. Quartz. Okay, 139 is not a lot, but we don't need a lot, so that should be fine. We're just going to go ahead and place this down, and we're going to be very careful here. We're going to do F3G to see our chunk boundaries, make sure we are in the chunk where the quartz is stored. There we go. We're going to put our steel drill head on there, and we're going to go back over here. This is where our coal is being mined, and we're just going to grab a stack of coal. Go ahead and top this up while we're here every time we're in the neighborhood. And then use this to get some nether quartz. So, just like that. We just need to tell it to output. We do that by shift right clicking on the front, and then we put our chest down. And there we go. Now we're going to get nether quartz. And we're just going to go and get just a handful of pieces. I don't think we need much for this, but I'd rather not have to go all the way back here if I count wrong for whatever reason. There, 8 pieces is plenty. So let's go ahead and go back to base and set this up. Okay, drawer controller, easy enough. We just need to make a couple of these drawers for them to sit in. And you know what? When I'm making drawer controllers or upgrades, I like to use the 4x4s because we get 4 for 1. Now, I know from a trade-off perspective, that's not, it doesn't really matter, you know, at the end of the day, it's not buying us anything, but I do think using the 4 drawers means that I'm more likely to have some on hand when I'm making them. You can just use single drawers for this. The price is pretty much the same, but I don't know, it just feels easier to do it this way. So that's the first piece we're going to need. For the drawer controller next, we're going to need a couple of these redstone torches to make redstone comparators. And I think I need 6 all day for that. So let's go ahead and make ourselves some more planks, which we can use to make some more logs. To make some more sticks, we'll just do 16 of those here. And then we're going to give ourselves 6 redstone torches, just like so. Now we take those and we manufacture our redstone comparators. We need 2 of those. And again, as mentioned, we have extra quartz left over. That's great. And then I think we have everything that we need to make our drawer controller. Perfect. Now this gives us a block that we can insert all of our various ingredients into, and it'll automatically sort them into the proper storage drawers. So now we have our extractor. We have some conveyor belts, I think enough for this. And we can also reset this up so that the output is in a different place to make it easier on ourselves. And then we can insert those straight away. So let's change and see if we can change the output like that. We'll leave this here for now, not a big deal. And then what we should be able to do here is take our conveyor belts. I think I don't even need the extractor for these. Yeah, there we go. It automatically wants to put them down on here. And I just insert these into where the conveyors need to go. Now, you know what? These are the wrong ones. These are not the ones we want to use. These are the basic immersive engineering belts. And we built upgraded belts from logistics. So that's what we want here. So I think we can just put these down like this. Yeah, that's how that works. And now these should, in theory, go right on that belt. Let's see if that works. Yeah, there we go. Oh, except for some of them are popping out. Popping out is not what we want. So, okay, that is a thing to debug, and I'm glad we figured that out sooner rather than later. So let's go ahead and break this chest. Actually, we don't even need to break that chest. We have extra chests. And that one's kind of partially full anyway, and I'm not going to have room in my inventory for all this stuff. So let's go ahead and put a chest down here. And now we're going to break this one, and this is where our extractor comes in that we were mentioning. All right, so now all we have to do is plunk down our extractor, and this is actually the back of it. So we just turn this around, and there we go. It should automatically start exporting any items that come into it. So just like that, we're getting all of our lovely, lovely ores put into our basic drawers. Now, these basic drawers are starting to get pretty full. Okay, so we do need to upgrade our storage a little bit before we're going to be able to actually use this because we're producing way more copper than we can store right now. So let's go ahead and make a storage upgrade. Oh, we're gonna need a bunch more sticks for that. And I think we just want a gold one for now. I don't think I have enough diamonds that I can sacrifice diamonds yet. So let's go ahead and install that in our copper. And you know what? Let's go ahead and do one for our iron as well while we're at it. So a few more sticks. And just like so, we got another gold one. And yeah, let's go ahead and put it here too. Perfect. All right, so while that's all going on, I'm gonna go back to our researcher and drop in our conveyor belts and our plates that we've been automating and give it a little bit more coal to top up here. No, it's fine. And hopefully that can start making some research for us. We're just gonna have that going in the background while we're doing other things today because we need a lot more research than what we've got. Now, The next thing to do is to start bringing in our various components into our main hub here from where they're being stored currently. So that means more extractors, and that means a lot more conveyor belts. That sounds like fun to me. So I'm going to grab up all the conveyor belts we've made already, and I'm going to start manufacturing a bunch more. So let's go ahead and drop our copper in here. So that's going to make a bunch more copper gears for us. Drop a bunch more iron into this one. And right now we're not automating this because we want to keep the copper gears. So we'll move these manually back and forth as we make the gears. And I think we had some left over. No. Yes? Yeah, look, we have 12 right there. So let's get that cranking out. Okay. So with these, we're going to use them to make the next upgraded conveyors. So right here, 4 of them makes 8. I really love that you get more out of it the more that you upgrade. That is really, really awfully nice. So I think we have enough iron here that we can do all of these with no problem. Great. Yeah, that gives us a whole bunch. And we're going to keep some behind because we still need to make a few more extractors. And you know what? I don't think this is even enough. I think I need to make a whole bunch more. But for now, we're going to work on the extractors, which means making a whole bunch of hoppers. We need at least 3 each. And you know what? I'm just about out of iron. So we're going to smelt some more iron down and then use all of that. You know what? I had been holding off on putting chests on top of these hoppers, but I think it's time. Now we are getting into mass manufacturing of iron and other ingredients. So we're just going to start filling these up. Give me all of your iron and drop that in here. Good. And now we have just iron for days. All right, so while that's cooking, I'm going to deal with my constantly being electrocuted problem. And I'm going to do that very simply by just going over here to my hemp farm and chopping down some hemp, which we have a pretty good crop of hemp at this point. We started planting it last episode, and since then it's grown pretty big, and we've gotten a bunch more seeds from completing quests. So we kind of have all the hemp that we need right now. With the hemp that we have just gathered, we should be able to insulate all of the wires. So the way that we do that is, first, we need to make more cables. I think we have plenty of copper at this point to make cables. It's just a question of having enough sticks, which I keep running out of for no apparent reason. So we want to do, not treated sticks. Yeah, this is what we want. We want the cut up copper wire, because then we get 4 to 1. So to do that, let's grab our copper ingots, and we're going to go put these in the press. So this press here, drop our copper ingots in. That's going to turn them into copper plates. The copper plates, we could turn these directly actually into wires with a press, but we don't have that press ingredient yet. So we're doing plates, and then we're going to use our cutters here, our engineer's wire cutters, to turn them into wire. All right, so we've got our 16 plates. We just grab those, we grab our snips, and there we go. Wire, no problem. And now we should be able to make our insulated cable. I think that's all we need here. So copper wire, using this recipe. Oh, if I use treated sticks, I get twice as many. Okay, we're gonna do that. I feel like it's a waste of treated sticks, but whatever, we're doing it. And then we just combined it with our hemp fiber. And now we have a lot of insulated coils. Easy enough. Can I undo that as well? Yeah, you can get that back. All right, we'll leave it at 32. That's a nice round number. Now we go around with our snips and we cut all of the existing cables. So just like that. And we want to wire this up while we're doing it because I always forget. I don't know about y'all, but I am real bad at remembering to wire everything back up once I've unwired it. So we're just going to wire as we go. For right now, we're awfully short on redstone. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a bunch of it, and we're going to use that to go ahead and upgrade our belts right now that we already have. There's really no reason for us not to go ahead and turn these into the next tier of conveyor belts. Now, the only other thing that we need for that is steel components. So the recipe here, if we use these, you can see we need 1 steel mechanical component for every 8 belts. So that recipe is much cheaper if we have the engineer's blueprint and the engineer's workbench. So let's add an engineer's workbench to our shopping list. This should be easy enough for us to make. All we need is the crafting table. All the rest of this we already had. And there we go. We're going to plunk that down right here next to the rest of our existing setup. And now we need the blueprint for it. So blueprint. We need the engineer's blueprint. And I think the only thing we're missing there is paper. Now, are there any alternate recipes for paper in this pack? Book, cane, sawdust we don't have, tough fabric. Tough fabric we do have. So I love the tough fabric recipe. In all of my packs that I make, I generally include this recipe automatically because I use it as an alternative for leather. So I think this is a great recipe to have around from immersive engineering. And then you have an alternate source of non-leather for those of us who like to have more vegan options for our recipes. Now, we just use that alternate recipe to make a whole bunch of paper. That should be a lot for now. And we can make our engineer's blueprint. We drop our engineer's blueprint in here, and that's going to give us a whole bunch of options here. So we want the steel mechanical component. For that, we need 2 steel plates and 1 copper ingot. So that means we need to start manufacturing some steel plates. Now, I think we have a decent amount of steel laying around here, and I thought I had more blocks of steel, but we're going to go ahead and make more steel in the background and also turn these into steel plates. How do we do that? With our plate press. So just drop these in here, and we're going to have a bunch of steel plates off of that. Now, we do have a fluid pump now, so in theory, I could start maybe automating this off of the Coke oven. I don't know if it'll work the way that I want it to, but it's worth a shot. I do think this is in the wrong place though. So let's, oh, what just happened there? I thought I could pick these tanks up and break them and move them, but apparently I shattered something? That's weird. What are these? Creosote oil shards. Okay. How do these work? Oh, that's how these work. So basically I just can dump these into a tank like so. That's silly. I love it, but you would think the tanks could be picked up nicely and easily. Okay, so we can use piggyback instead. We'll just put these down like this. Okay, so we're going to temporarily break down part of our Coke oven here, and instead stick our fluid pump next to it. Now the fluid pump then we just have to whack with an engineering hammer to make it the input. So now that that's the input, we should be able to rebuild this and whack this, and there we go. This should then output. Now we just have to tell it where to output. Okay, so now that we have our output set there, we can just tell it to output here. We don't actually want it to connect on this side. There we go. And now if we power this pump, it should start pulling all of our lovely creosote oil back out. So we put a connector on top, like so. We use our brand new insulated cables, which I had stored over here. Where are those at? Insulated cables. And we connect that, if I can, off of there to there. And in theory, this should start pumping out our creosote oil. That tends to be the thing that stops the Coke oven because it can only hold basically 2 blocks of coals worth. So that should make this a little bit more automated and easy to control. Okay, while we're talking about storage and while our steel is processing, one thing we are missing, power storage. So we're just going to go ahead and make ourselves a couple of LV capacitors. And on top of that, well, let's start with 1. I think 1 will be fine for the fluctuations we're going to have. We're going to need another LV wire connector or 2. 2 will do perfectly. And then we want to wire this into our overall system here. So right now, most of our power is being routed from this pipe. This is the pole that everything is connected to. So if we go and grab our wire cutters, we can disconnect everything from here. And we can also disconnect from here our generator. And what we'll do instead is we're we're going to take our LV capacitor here and put this down there, right? Now, we actually want to turn that on its side because we want to be able to route this properly. So let's try that again. Can I do it on its side if I have to shift and sit? Oh, now I'm just putting things down willy-nilly. I guess not. Can I do this? Input. Okay, yeah, that's what we want. And then we'll make this output. Perfect. All right. So into this input, we're going to want to add our power. So I take our wire connector on this generator, I put it on the back. And for the capacitor, I'm also putting on the back because you can't do 2-to-1 on wire connectors, as I remember. So instead, we put our generator to the relay, and then both of those are going to go into our capacitor. Now, back out of our capacitor from the top, we run a cable here, and there we go. So you can see it's draining the power that we put in really, really quickly because it's using that power. And now our whole system has a battery backup. Now, we're pretty much going to be using power constantly here for our external heater, but that at least gives us some storage when we are not smelting things. And it looks like our pump is not working. It's got power. It's got output. Don't know why this isn't working. Maybe it needs a redstone signal? Let's throw a lever at it. How about now? Now will you do a thing? Yeah, you see that going up? Immediately drained it. So that's all you need. You just need a redstone signal on this fluid pump, and then it'll do what you want it to do. And it looks like this is getting pretty full, so we need to build a couple of more tanks. Do we have enough glass? You know, we need like one more piece of sand smelted. Where's my sand? Oh, I have exactly one piece of sand. That is convenient. So let's go ahead and drop that there. And we're going to go ahead and put our iron ore back in here, and that's going to give us one piece of glass. Let's build 2 more tanks. There we go, 2 more tanks. Okay, now we can just nerd pull up to the top of that and put down more tanks so that this doesn't fill up immediately. I wish we had some mechanism tanks so that we could increase the size of these. Some dynamic tanks would be nice to have here for volume, but this'll do. This'll do nicely. All right, so now we have enough steel plates that we can actually make some of these steel mechanical components. So I think we just take our steel plates and we put them here, and we put our copper plates here, and now we can get 12 steel mechanical components. Perfect. That's what we like to see. Now, with that and our redstone, we can use these to upgrade our conveyors into fast conveyors. Great. That is a lot already. 64 and 32. Now we still need a whole bunch more steel production before we're going to get anywhere with that. That's only a starting point for us, but it's a pretty good starting point. This might be enough to get them from the bottom of the hill up here. So let's see which of these I can pull up. Now, one of these I think is bringing in iron and copper. Yeah, this is, along with silver. Perfect. So this I think is going to be the one that we're going to want to bring up the hill. Now, we are going to want to do one more extractor, at least. Maybe need 2 or 3 more extractors, just so that we can get things moving. So where are our extractors? Right here. And we just need to make a couple more of our extracting conveyor belts. Let's do 2 for now. And that does mean we need to grab more iron so that we can make more hoppers. This is going to be a cycle I think everybody is starting to get used to. So let's go ahead and make 6 more hoppers. Perfect. And then we're going to make our extractors. There we go. Cool. Now let's go down the hill and set this up. Now, one thing that we're going to have to do here is get things up a hill. We haven't had to run up this hill yet with our ingredients, and we have to figure out which way we want to do that. I might consider going up the back here. That might be a way to go, and sneak it through so that it comes in this side. That could be worthwhile here. We might need to build a little bridge at a dirt to do that, but I think we have enough dirt. So let's just lay that out real quick. You know, if I was a little further into the game and I had like aluminum scaffolding or other scaffolding kind of ready to go, I would do that instead, honestly, here. I think that would look a lot neater and more like a factory, but I suspect this is going to be temporary building anyway, so I don't have to have that. Cool. So to do that, we get to do a fun thing. We get to convert these into fast escalators, not just regular conveyors. So I think 8? I think we're about at 8. 8 is the rise of the slope there that we need. I'm not positive, but I think that's about right. So we're going to put this here, and then we're going to put our extractor. Well, that's not what we want our extractor. We're going to put our extractor here, and then we just need to turn it around with our wrench. There we go. Now we're flinging ingredients left and right. Okay, let's stop that for now. We'll fix that in a minute. But we do want to start bringing these up. So let's do another here, and we'll fill in with dirt. Just need to do some inventory management, I think, more than anything at this point. And then the rest of these are going to go up here and over to this. And then we go up here and into here. So let's lay all of that out. We'll do this here. This one goes here and here. And then, oh, I'm stuck on the belt. Okay. And then we just run it over this way, and that should be it. Now, there is one issue here, is that we're getting silver off of this in addition to copper and iron. So what we're going to need to do is build a couple of more containers here for storage. And we also probably should lock the storage so that we don't get ingredients into the wrong slot. This is always a problem with storage drawers. So at storage, and we want the lock drawer key. That's the right one? Yeah, that's the right one. So that's easy enough to make. We're just going to go ahead and make our upgrade templates again, and we do just need a nugget of gold. I really hate that it uses a nugget of gold. Nothing else uses nuggets of gold, but whatever. We will live with it. Okay, and now we do need to make a few more storage drawers. So let's go ahead and make these like so. Great. Inventory management, again, always a problem. Yeah, 4 is good. We'll do 4. And clean up our inventory again. Okay, so the way that we do this is we're just going to fill these in here, like so. And you can see already we're getting things in here we did not intend to get in here. And that's because when we were breaking some of the grass seeds got stuck into our system, and they've just been hanging out waiting for a spot. Okay, so we should do the array like that. And since they're now locked, it's not going to let us put any other ingredient in there other than the one specified on the label. Now, to fix this, we need to grab our silver ore, and we're out of inventory again. Let's just sunflower everywhere. Okay, great. Grab our silver ore. And then our silver ore, we're going to manually put into the slot. And when you manually put it into the slot, the rule doesn't apply for locking. So we can just stick it in there, and then it's going to memorize that slot. Okay, now everything is set up for automation. It should just magically work if I can get off the belt. So let's turn these around. And it looks like it's extracting almost too fast. We might have to come up with a solution for this. Maybe another layer? When in doubt, just keep encasing it over and over again. Well, that seems to be a pretty good rate right there. I think that is what we want. I don't think we're losing too much off that. So let's just drop all of these spare bits that fell out. And that should all be going into our storage array. All the way over here. How's our storage array looking? I don't think this is maxed out already. Yeah, there we go. It's still getting stuff in. Not very much iron, not very much of our silver, but that's a good start. Now, we still have a lot of regular conveyors, and I don't think we need more than a regular conveyor for these burner drills. So maybe I lay that out real quick for our gold production, which is over there. You can kind of see behind that tree. And start to make them for our coal and nether quartz, which is all the way over that way. Okay, so there is all of our automation done. Now, as it turns out, I actually had run out of nickel and quartz and gold at the mines I had set up for those ingredients. So basically, I didn't have to automate those at all. So I pulled up those burners and just picked up the ingredients and we're good. Now, the coal, although it looks like it's glitching a little because it's coming from so far away down these long belts, it is actually getting inserted properly. I don't think these are real. I think these are just ghosts that are kind of hanging out. And I have had to increase my chunk distance all the way up to 12? Is that where we're at here? Yeah, 12, just to be able to render all of that pipeline. Now, I'm worried that some of that is not rendering properly, but so far I haven't seen any coal stop coming in. If we see coal stop coming in, then that means that chunk isn't loading, and I don't have an anchor there. So all of this should work in theory with the belts, but again, the game is not optimized for this sort of thing like Factorio and Satisfactory. But it works pretty good. Now, one other thing that I have learned here is that I actually like the classic extractors a lot better than the new extractors. They just seem to work without popping things out. So you can just take a extracting conveyor belt from immersive engineering and put it down on an inventory and it'll just do its job like so. So you don't need to upgrade to the expensive extractors. You can just use a standard extracting conveyor belt from immersive engineering along with your conveyors fast or otherwise. It is going to have a throughput limit here, but it's not a problem. It keeps up with the fast ones pretty well, and I'm not having any trouble with it. So that's my recommendation, is to not use the extractors unless you actually need them for the filtering capabilities. So yeah, this is starting to look like a Factorio or Satisfactory style base already. This is coming together really quickly with all of these belts and moving ingredients around. Now, we don't have a main bus yet. We are only bringing in raw ingredients that are unsorted, but we could start doing our processing into a main bus here because we can pull things back off of this line for the processing that we need to do, the smelting and whatnot. I think I'm going to wait to do that until we have our electric factory set up, meaning having electric smelters and some upgraded ore production, things like that. It's not really worthwhile to do it while we're only using burners. The other thing we want to start looking at is electric drills and finding bigger ore veins to tap. That means going further on the map. So I'm going to call this the end of this episode. Thanks again for watching Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.